What is going on, everyone? My name is Boit and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology, the tutorial action. Today we have the awesomely powerful Zeus. We're going to be taking you through what used to be a very strong strategy. I'm going to take you through the Athena Rush, the one town center Athena Rush, but there has definitely been a lot of developments in this strategy. So the build order I'm going to give you today is not exactly the modern build order. However, this build order is much simpler to execute and it has its own little goals in its mind with what it wants to do. So this is kind of a medium build order because you have to have a little bit of understanding of your economy. You have to know what's going on there. You have to be monitoring to make sure villages are still coming out and not hoplites, because that'll happen. You'll have like a hoplite gets queued instead of a villager, and you don't want to have that. So those are the things you got to watch out for. But in general, this strategy works really well against the Norse gods and the Egyptian gods, and maybe even on a high hunt maps you can do an adaptation of this build against the Atlantean gods. So it can be used against everything. Beyond that, it can also be used against the Greek gods as well if you feel so inclined. So without further ado, let's get into it. So we'll build our villages. We're going to obviously go for our hunt straight away. Scout is going to be checking out everything. We just do our little circle around, get our goats to come in, make our hunting dogs come out. Now, this build was popularized by Ahom King back in the day. And what we're going to do in this little tutorial is we're going to be doing his build order. So his build order gets him up at 5 minutes and 15 seconds, gets him access to pickaxe, husbandry, and hand axe, and then allows him to spam from 4 military buildings as soon as he gets them up. So that's what we're going for. And the strat here is we go 4 villages food, 4 villages wood, 1 villager food, 3 villages gold with a house, and the rest go to food. And we also get pickaxe and husbandry in there as well at some point. You'll see them come in. Another thing to be really aware is that this strat doesn't work the best on maps where you don't have a lot of hunt. So you got to really pick and choose when you're going to do this build. I like spreading my goats out because it means that when my villagers are running around, they're going to not bump into each other when they're gathering the goats, which we will find happens. You need to come over here. This is a good spot for a storehouse share, but just for the sake of the build, I'm going to build this storehouse just so you know that everything's coming out fairly decently. So you can share the storehouse, and I could have done this storehouse a little bit closer to the gold mine, but I didn't, so it's fine. We build another one. Always a little bit off from the gold mine. Alright, we got relics. We're going to kind of ignore the relics here. Oh, I'm playing against easy AI. That doesn't really matter for the demonstration of the build order. Normally I like to just have like a little bit of resistance, because that'll be what happens in the actual game, but we'll just pretend as though everything goes well, and you'll see the ridiculous power of the build, right? We also want to make sure we got 2 separate hunting packs here. I'm trying to just draw this boar over, but it's not working, so I'm going to actually have to build another granary, which I didn't really want to do, but I have to do it. On your 18th population, that's when you want to get your town center. No, your town center, your temple. What's wrong with me? Get your temple up. Temple comes up. And then when we get the resources, we want to get husbandry. One thing that husbandry does, which people forget, is it makes your goats a little bit faster, and also allows you to gather from them. But the big one is that these villagers are going to be having 30 food to be gathered from, right, which is fairly big. We only want to put 10 villages on total on food. So what we're going to do is we're going to use one of our goats as like a in-between thing, just in case we kind of didn't have the food. So you chuck these villages over onto the goats until we have 3 of them. And once we have those 3 on goats, we should be able to advance, and that'll be a perfect 515. Also, now we've got husbandry. We want to get 2 houses, exactly 2 houses. And this villager is going to stay on favor. And basically going to be our house builder for the game as well. Now we can see we're just about to advance. What we can do is we can dump these resources. We're going through Athena, obviously. Now we're going to go for 10-7-3 in terms of our resource layout. And you can see what I do with these villages. I try and make them efficient. Different trees for each of them, basically. That way they're not going to bump into each other. And you'll find you get slightly more resources than otherwise. Now, as soon as we hit the next age, we want to get Jason out. We're gonna delay Odysseus a little bit and maybe even not build Odysseus. Odysseus is incredibly strong, so the modern build favors getting Odysseus out early over the extra military buildings. But you'll see how that works. So now we can see we're running out of hunt here, but luckily we have all of these goat we can move over onto, and because we've got husbandry, it's not that slow. I'm going to send my villagers over here and eat these goat. You can see that the wood is going to come up perfectly to build 2 barracks, 2 archery ranges. And we want to build these each with a separate villager, right? So they get up as fast as they possibly can. And we can shift click these guys and we'll be right. Now villages is going to go straight to wood. We want to get 10 villages on wood. This build is the 10-10. The 10-10-10. That's how we like it. The 10-10-10. We can also get the Odysseus out now as well, right? We've done this correctly. Maybe not. Maybe it's a little bit late. So auto queue, auto queue, auto queue, auto queue. Get this Odysseus out. And we'll be right to go here. And these guys are going to be doing good. Never forget to build houses. At this point, when you've started to queue everything up, make sure you get these houses going up. At this point, against a lot of people, you can actually go on attack. So you could go and move on over onto their hunt or something. And it's going to be a difficult time for them to stop you. Now we got the Odysseus here. And you can see he's actually there. So we can go and kill those as a little demonstration. We should be still building these houses everywhere. Once the 10th villager gets over onto wood, we start going onto the gold. We want to put all those villagers onto gold until we have 10. And we can move in. Super late advance time, but that's fine. We can kill off these villagers here. He's running away, and they will all die. Chances are you will get something. It's trying to find me. Chances are you will get some kills on your raids here. And we can just keep on popping these up. You can even build a Minotaur if you feel like it. I'm going to not do it, but you can use that favor that you bought earlier to get those Minotaur out, and they can be really strong against Norse. You can see how much food we have. We're always got plenty of resources here to be building units. Never short on that. And what this strategy is really good about doing is you want to at a certain point you want to be like, okay, where do I go to kill him? And the place you want to attack is this gold mine. If it's exposed, you just run in with restoration and you get that kill. That's basically what you want to be doing. And also you can just run around and kill a bunch of his his temples and his buildings and everything like that. Another thing you should probably think about doing, it's not the most important, but you can rebuild this storehouse closer. It saves a lot of resources. Or it means you gather resources much faster, basically. Come back. Okay, we got 12 villages on gold. We stuffed that up. No, we didn't. I thought it was not quite right. Let's fix that up. Okay, so now we've got this perfect little layout of 10-10-10. We start putting villages back onto food because we want to be gearing up to go to the heroic age here. So this is if things don't go quite so good for you. Like right now, I could easily just go and kill his town center and win the game, right? But we're just going to pretend like that's not the case. If you've done enough damage and you've microed your army well enough, you can do that kind of stuff. But what we're going to be trying to do here is just get full population in terms of our army and try and go and kill our opponent here. We can even cancel some units as we get closer here and sink those resources into medium infantry and medium archers, leaving ourselves a little bit of population to be building those crucial villages. Getting supply blocked is not the best thing, or like max population is not the best thing in army if you can't keep fighting. But we'll show you kind of where you can go with this. Look at how many units I've currently got. Like I've got so many units, and once I get my medium infantry, these hoplite absolutely shred the town center. And on top of this, look at this wooden I have in the back. If my opponent had more of these, I can just transition into farms as well, right? And we can continue going here. Now, if you're going for this town center takedown, you want to send in your Minotaur first so he tanks. And then you can just kind of run at the town center and you'll see how fast this goes down. Obviously, you're going to have to cast like a restoration or something here as well. If he's got army on you, if he's trying to kill your units while you're doing this, you can just cast restoration. All your units basically become invincible. And you can see I lose nothing here from this attack. Kill off the town center, and that's going to be the game. If this attack doesn't work, but you don't want to just like throw away units and go for the attack here, you basically don't want to be making more units than I've made here in the classical age, because you want to be going to the heroic age here as a follow-up through Dionysus. If you can do that, it's really good. And you can see what I do is I'm going to be putting villagers over onto wood when I'm advancing. This does two things for me. It allows me to gear up to get 2 town centers, 1 and the 2 which will be here, and also start making farms as well, right? So we'll just imagine like, okay, I won, but you can see where this is going here, right? So the point is that this attack here can either gold starve your opponent on this gold mine, if it's an exposed gold mine, you can push him off that gold mine with this restoration attack. If that doesn't happen, the next option is to be going for some sort of like really big attack onto their hometown center by like picking off lots of straggler units. You want to be like sniping units with your Toxotes and things like that. And then making a big attack onto their town center with restoration is the other thing. If that's not on, if you're playing against a really good opponent who can defend against all that stuff, then you can just go heroic age. And by the time I hit heroic age, it's going to be 11 minutes, 12 minutes into the game. And this gold mine should be expired by then against a decent player, which means then you've got a nice, strong bronze restoration timing push onto a second gold mine there, as well as a follow-up. And if that's not on the cards, then you've got 2 town center follow-up into boom and get late game Zeus. So you do have all of those options there, and that's the build. I know this was an easy AI, so it's not the best representation of what it can do, but I do guarantee that this build is going to do a lot of work for you at that medium level of players. Like you're looking at like your like extended edition 1800 to like 2K-ish range. It's going to do a lot of damage. Even at low levels, it does a lot of damage. You can see it wasn't that difficult. You just have to remember to do the right things. And verbally comparison would be somewhere between 1650 and 1700. This build's going to do a lot of work for you. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please rate, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you like my videos and want to see them as soon as they come out. My name is Boit, and I will see you guys next time.